Welcome in. It's a brand new edition of the RSL show on the KSL Sports Network. I'm Alex Napolis. And oh my gosh, what has happened in the last week? You know, I had to go back and listen to the last show we put out because we were talking about how quiet it was. We were talking about how nothing was happening. And then literally within 24 hours of us putting that show up, boom, we just get bombarded with everything. But before we get into that, Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling quite sick. My boss sent me home earlier today, so I'm powering through it for you guys right now.
We have to. With everything that's happened over the course of the last week, we have to. So we appreciate you.
This isn't one I could miss. You know, I had feelings I got to share.
And then, of course, Carson Land's joining us. Carson, how you doing, man?
I am doing great, Alex. A little overwhelmed by all this news that's just happened like the last 3 days, and I'm excited to talk about it.
I don't even know where to begin. You know what?
I mean, obvious answer.
I do know where to begin. It's about an important striker in Major League Soccer who has left, a DP striker who has left a team and is no longer a part of that team. And of course, I'm talking about Alan Pulido leaving Sporting Kansas City and heading down to Liga MX, right? That's
of
course. That's the only big one that's happened over the course of. Oh, and you know, there's this guy named Chicho who apparently got traded to a Western Conference rival. What are we doing?
Why can we not have nice things?
This is why we can't have nice things.
It blows my mind, man. Like, what a season? A season is all we got to enjoy Chicho Arango.
We had it for
a season and a half.
Yeah, we had a year and a half.
$6 million for a year and a half. And then, of course, you know, it's not RSL without controversy.
Right.
And, of course, it has to rear up its ugly head with our star striker. Yep. And this is why we can't have nice things.
Yep. Carson, your initial reactions to Chicho Arango getting traded to the San Jose Earthquakes?
It feels like RSL put him up on the trade block and Bruce Arena hopped on that super quickly. He was like, oh, bet, Chicho Arango, give me him. And I didn't see like anything else happen really. But I think I kind of wanted to go to like what Kurt Schmidt was saying. He said that Chicho went to him and said he wants a new beginning for him and his family, which was kind of sad, you know. All the fans at RSL loved him, and you know, he was like an MVP for first half of the season, and then all of a sudden some things happen and he's gone just like that.
Do you think he needed a fresh start because of allegations? Because, I mean, a year and a half, what kind of fresh start are you really getting after, right?
I mean, he's only going to California and he's still in the Western Conference, but I could kind of see from both sides, RSL and Chicho. Chicho wanted a fresh start, and maybe RSL kind of just wanted to get that drama out, you know? They don't want that in
the price tag shows they wanted to get the drama out.
Yeah, and which I respect that, honestly. If I'm front office, I don't want drama in my locker room. You know, we have a bunch of young guys. They don't need that.
No, I completely agree, which is why I think this is the right move, and I'm not surprised at all that the move happened. I'm surprised it happened within the league. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm more surprised that it happened to a Western Conference team. But yeah, not surprised Chicho's gone. You know, I agree with you. We can't have players accused of certain things around young players and not producing goals, right? It's the right move. It's unfortunate, and it's going to be hard to replace. It's going to take some time. Yeah, it just sucks all around. It sucks.
Terrible situation. And you've kind of felt this one coming. Leading up to all this happening with Chicho being traded, there was Pipe Sierra, who is one of the most credible, notable Southern American writers when it comes to transfer news, when it comes to specifically Colombian guys. And he'd been talking about all winter long about Chicho Arango wanting a move to Colombia, wanting to go to play Atlético Nacional. Nacional apparently didn't want to put the money down, and so that didn't happen. But there was signs. There was signs that something was going to happen. And it makes a lot more sense with the mysterious suspension, We, you hear Kurt Schmidt get in front of the media and talk about he wanted to move, he wanted a fresh start. And so it just sounds like there was so much stuff going on behind the scenes that I think Real Salt Lake just wanted to get out from under, wanted to move on from. And I think Chicho as well just wanted to move on. Both sides just wanted to move on. And I think that's fine. But 1.5 in GAM?
Yup.
Fleeced.
Underwhelming.
Fleeced.
And I believe they have the DP slot because, so we don't have an open DP slot at this time.
No, we do. We do.
I think we do, yeah. Yeah, we do.
I was reading the article.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was reading the article from Matt Doyle earlier today. We do have an open DP spot, and we'll get into that in a minute.
When I read it, it said that we only had 2 of 2, and San Jose had 4 of 2. Somehow,
this is where it gets weird and complicated because of all the league rules and everything. But the new rule just came out, and I think that RSL benefits from that. And
definitely.
Again, we'll get into that. But you do get an international spot as a part of this deal. So Real Salt Lake does add an international spot.
I wish it was permanent.
I think it is valuable, but still, I think San Jose gets a good deal for a guy who had 17 goals in the league last season.
Unless it's second half Chicho for San Jose, then we win. You know what I mean?
I saw somebody post on, I can't remember if it was a comment on our Instagram or one of our tweets, but I did see someone say, did we trade first half of the season Chicho, or did we trade second half of the season Chicho? And I think for Real Salt Lake's sake, I hope it's second half of the season Chicho.
Yeah. I just think San Jose, a Western Conference rival, just went from like worst team in the MLS to potentially contender. You know what I'm saying? Not contender, but maybe they could make a run in the playoffs. But first they got to make the playoffs. You know, because just because they have all those stars doesn't mean they're going to work out. But like on paper, they look like a really good team.
Yeah, they're aging a bit, but they look strong. Yeah.
I agree with that sentiment purely off the fact that it's now Bruce Arena's team. And love him or hate him, Bruce Arena has done phenomenal things in Major League Soccer. Probably one of the best, if not the best coach to ever coach in this league. And if it was anybody else taking charge of that team, I would have my doubts. But since it's Bruce Arena, I think I'm along with Carson. San Jose might actually do something this year.
Yeah, they'll definitely make some noise. They won't be a basement dweller.
Yeah. So with that, Chicho Arango, the captain, the star striker, the star DP, moves on. He's no longer a part of Real Salt Lake. The move was made official on Sunday. I believe it was. Yes, that was Sunday. Also, on the same day, news coming out officially that Matt Crooks was no longer a part of this team. We already knew that. We just got the official word for it. But more news coming out on the same day. What a Friday.
But before we move on to the next piece of news, do you find it interesting that we hired the dude to be like the leader of men mentor after the Chicho stuff?
Former Navy SEAL or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed? Did we get confirmation on
I'm not sure if that's confirmed, but if that does line up, it's weird, right? It's kind of it's strange to me.
It is. So. It is interesting to have a leadership coach come in
after stuff with your captain goes down.
Yeah, I have it right here. Former U.S. Army Special Ops Officer Lieutenant Colonel Grant Barge recently hired as leadership coach for Real Salt Lake. So who knows what that's going to do? But
what is I'm curious to know what exactly the leadership coach.
They hang up those posters that you saw in elementary school that say like believe, achieve, and there's like a random stock image of like a guy doing the fist pump or a high five.
Yeah. I think it'll be nice to like have someone that's not playing on the field, but like they're in the locker room to help motivate and lead the team. And like, you know what I'm saying? Other than Pablo, other than like a captain. Cause like this guy's a veteran, you know? And if you're an American or just any type like from a country that has an army, you respect
Sure.
those people highly.
Sure.
I feel like you should, you know, and maybe that's the whole reason they brought him in.
What does that say about, I guess, the leadership inside of the locker room?
To me, it says they're young.
Yeah,
Justin Glad?
I think we all know that they're young, but is he
Justin
a leader?
Glad's pretty young. Yeah, but does he have?
Yeah.
He's never held down the captaincy, like really held it down.
Like if you really think about it, like our only captain we have in the locker room right now is Emeka Anelli.
Unless Zach McMath does stick around, but
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening.
You still got you still got McMath, you still have Glad, you still have Anelli, who have all worn the captain's armband.
But maybe this is just to like build them up, right? Like you're putting boys on the field that are young, athletic, gallant, talented, gifted, right? But they don't maybe have that veteran mindset, that real bite to them, and maybe you're just trying to add that to some young players. I get it. It kind of makes sense to me. Give them that mental fortitude and toughness. Now you can say moving on.
I think I hope that the first thing this guy does coming into Real Salt Lake in this new role as the leadership coach, I hope the first thing he does is go to the locker room and hang up a big old yellow "Believe" sign.
No.
Yes.
Right over the lockers.
I hope he goes into the locker room after training, right? And like starts drill sergeanting these guys, right?
Oh,
and then Brody speaks up because he's still here for some reason. And then he gets real mad, makes him do push-ups, and then like shaves his head in front of everybody. That's what I hope. I'm sorry, that was a very weird
that was
I hope
just
he plays
crossed
the
my mind.
trumpet at 5 a.m. every morning to wake up the players and make them go running.
he could very well be coming in and just be a drill sergeant. Who knows? Who knows? That might be, yes. That's we'll get some clarification on this leadership coach and see what kind of what his role with Real Salt Lake fully entails, and we'll report back to you guys once we hear back. So that Friday, absolutely wild, crazy day when it came to news. We get to the later parts of the evening, and Bogart drops another bomb on us, this time involving Gavin Beavers, who is apparently finalizing a deal to sign with Brøndby in Sweden.
Great for him. I'm so pumped for him.
Yeah, I don't hate this move.
And that's pure profit for us, right? That's exactly what we look for to then flip into a big striker later, right? This is a guy that you develop through your academy, right? No transfer fees involved. It's great for his career, right? It's going to make him, a bigger target for the U.S. men's national team. It's great for his development. Just all around big fan of the move. I don't think anyone's surprised Gavin Beavers is moving on. Anyone?
No.
This is the time he needed to go if he was ever going to make himself anything other than an MLS goalkeeper. So
I agree.
Stoked for him.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him as well. I think he made it pretty well known that he wanted to make that Europe move sooner than later. And I think this move will help him a lot, considering he's like top 3 goalkeeper in his age group, and getting to Europe is super crucial. I mean, they got Diego Cochin and Julian Eystone already over in Europe, and now Beavers is there. And I hope he can develop good and have a great career, and I'm just happy RSL was the beginning for him.
Big move for Gavin Beavers heading over to Europe. I believe Brøndby, if I'm not mistaken, is involved in this Blitzer umbrella. So I'm sure that kind of helps out a little bit to facilitate this move and make sure that, of course, you're able to get Gavin overseas and you're able to do good with one of your sister clubs.
Yeah, Blitzer is the owner of Brøndby.
So we get berated with all these players, all these guys leaving. We talked about it a little bit on the last show about how we were looking like we were going to run it back with basically the same squad, and then all of a sudden, boom, you just blow it up. You lose Chicho, Arango, Crooks is gone, Julio's gone. There's a lot of players in the attack. You look at all the top goal scorers from last season, and there's only two remaining, and that is Diego Luna and Alex Catranis. You're rebuilding this attack completely heading into a Champions League season. Does that make sense?
No. I feel like it makes sense to a certain point to be rebuilding, and bringing in younger guys. But we just lost out on like a lot of experienced players.
The striker position's still scary. It's a lot of unproven goal scorer. I mean,
Very unproven.
this is the hard part, right? Okay. RSL really wants to be a development club.
Sure.
We've seen them have success. Gavin Beavers, Fidel Barajas, Gomez, Luna. I'm assuming Kobe Henry's in those plans. And I'm assuming all of the guys we're linked with, as strikers, being part of those plans.
Yep.
Obviously, Mark Zook, Brook, part of those plans as well. Anelli to an extent. But at what point is relying on hopefully coming good like too much of a stretch? I feel like you still have to have some main points in that spine, whether it be a top striker for these guys to learn from and develop under, or a star winger or a stud center back. At what point are we overdoing the hoping that these young guys end up being talents?
I think Real Salt this season, with the direction that we're seeing, with all these moves that we're seeing, I think Real Salt is going to learn real quick whether that model works or whether it doesn't.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, then we could probably see a DP9 coming in.
I think you have to bring in a DP9 regardless.
I think they're hoping that we'll be able to get by until summer.
People will not be happy if we start out just terrible and then we don't do something about it. That's my worry, is we start out terrible and then all of a sudden we just tank for the rest of the season.
I don't like that.
Me either.
I don't like that. Look,
I'd rather would go into the season prepared and ready to actually contend than
absolutely.
wait till halfway through and then maybe being good or maybe being bad.
But what if all three of these guys that are coming in at striker are really good?
Then heck yeah, let's go.
Did you notice on social media the club trying to hype up Forster Ajago?
Yeah.
They posted that video of the bicycle kick that he had on the first day back.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, yeah. I was thinking of the bicycle kick from the other Australian kid.
No. It was
But he scored on in training. That's right.
Yeah.
It was Ajago.
Hey man, maybe they know something we don't.
That's why I'm scared though, because you just feel like you've been down this road sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And you just don't. You kind of know what's coming, and you're just a little worried about it. I would just love to be pleasantly surprised.
I feel like we experienced that with like Cordoba, Bobby Wood, Sam Johnson. Kind of feels like
that was like coming out of the darker ages, man.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's kind of like where we are with strikers right now. Just hoping one of them's good.
What's Sergio Cordoba up to these days? Anybody know?
I think he's in Turkey.
I think somebody should give him a call.
No.
That was a fast no.
That was a quick no.
Oh.
All right. So moving forward into this week. So obviously over the weekend you have all this news of a bunch of guys heading out. The shocking news of Chicho's trade to San Jose, and then kind of gets you over a little bit when you hear Sunday night that Real Salt Lake is signing U.S. Youth National Team center back Kobe Henry on loan from Reims in France. 20-year-old, played for Orange County, joined Reims, was been on loan in the 3rd division of France. Young guy, potential galore. And now he's coming over to be added to the center back depth here for Real Salt Lake.
I'm very pumped about this one. This one eased the sting a lot.
Look, obviously he hasn't played in like a very long time, but Kobe's been a player that I've like kept up with ever since he kind of made his way into the Orange County starting lineup. I think he was on the team with Orange County that won the championship. Correct me if I'm wrong, that won the USL a couple years ago. But I've always been a big fan of him, whether it's on the field or off the field. That dude has great sense of style for clothes, and I'm just gonna shout him out right there. But I also really like him. He's a tall center back, but I'm gonna also have to watch more film on him. But just from the past, I really like this signing, and if it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be a little sad.
This is one that he could end up being a national team center back.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is one he could end up also moving back to Europe for big money again. $700K to Orange County to get him over to France. That's a big fee for a USL guy, right? So clearly others have seen potential in him.
And sources have told me that the buy option included with the loan is less than what Reams bought him for from Orange County.
Yeah, so even better.
Look, he hasn't even played. He hasn't even stepped onto the pitch for Real Salt Lake yet. I would not be shocked at all if that purchase option is triggered already.
Yeah.
Mostly because this is MO Real Salt Lake. This guy fits everything that Kurt Schmidt and Pablo Mastroeni want to do with the club right now. Find these young guys, develop the crap out of them, and then sell them off for a good chunk of change.
And this is a move that could change his career as well, so it makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, not to knock third division French soccer because I think we're
good. Better. We're better.
But Major League Soccer,
we're better
right now can help him develop a lot better than third division French soccer.
Yeah, I agree.
Josh, anything else you want to add?
No, just my kind of center back. Tough, physical, good with his feet. It's guys. Get aura, yes. It's so much better. Again, he hasn't even put his uniform on for RSL yet, but him or Holt, right? Him or broken Marcelo.
Give me the 20-year-old Kobe Henry every day, any day over Eric Holt. And then you get the following day, more news for Real Salt Lake. An Australian forward, Arath Piol, coming over from Australia, from Aussie. Not the first Aussie that Real Salt Lake has gone for in the last year. Obviously, you have Lachlan Brook, who came over in the summer last season. Now Real Salt Lake continue to scout in Australia, this time bringing over a striker, a forward. Piol, 20 years old as well, has 3 goals and 1 assist in 416 league minutes in Australia's top flight this season.
I don't really know too much about Piol, but I asked some of my friends over in Australia. Here, I'll give him a shout out at Scout Aussie. I asked him, "Hey, what are your opinions on Piol?" And he said, "He is fast, strong, and has a lot of composure, decent technique, can play wide or center forward, has scored a couple of outrageous goals this season, broke through as a 16, 17-year-old playing in the South Australian State League at Metro Stars, then signed for the WSW's reserve team, then moved to MacArthur."
His goals looked cool. That's about all I know about this guy. I don't watch a lot of daily.
He did have a golazo.
He did.
That I saw in one of his highlights.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see him play in preseason because, again, not very familiar, right? He doesn't have a lot of highlights out there because he's so young. So there's not a big sample to go and watch. But, big, fast guy, if he can, stay between those center backs and help, create some space for our wings, then I'm happy.
Really, really unproven. This is as raw as you can probably get with a player. There's just not a lot to scout off of him right now. As far as our standpoint goes, obviously the club, you hope, did the work and scouted him intensely and enough to decide to want to make that move. But just raw talent that we're seeing in Arath Piol come over to Real Salt Lake, and like Josh mentioned, this is one that I'm excited to see play in that preseason so we can get a feel for where he's at and get a feel for what he's going to bring this season for Real Salt Lake.
If he brings us 10 goals, it's a great signing.
Yes.
Yes.
What was that?
No,
yes.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, it's just I love when things are so unknown and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, that's it. Yes.
It's true. It is. He is very unknown, and again, I hope that we can see him sooner rather than later to get a feel for where he's at. Someone not as unknown, Haziel Orozco, potentially going over to St. Louis City, also staying in Major League Soccer. You know what? I'm happy for him.
I just want him to get some minutes, man.
Absolutely.
I don't really have a big opinion on Hazi. I just remember him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Carson's a Haziel Orozco hater.
No, I'm not a hater. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I I feel like him getting like 3 starts under Freddie Juarez made him
It
get
was
hyped up.
Pablo. It was
No,
Pablo.
I swear he debated under Juarez.
But maybe with the Monarchs, probably. No, actually, no. Not even with the Monarchs. It was Pablo.
Oh my gosh. Okay, someone fact check Alex, please. but I feel like he was hyped up, and but then he got like he obviously we needed him time to develop, but then injuries just kind of halted that, and then he went to Larney, did good there, but it just seemed like the new front office just didn't have a future for him around here. But if he succeeds in St. Louis, awesome, good for him.
I'm always going to want him to succeed. I hope he goes to St. Louis and just absolutely tears it apart and becomes a regular for St. Louis. I think that'd be super awesome for Haziel. Happy for his move. Sad it couldn't be with Real Salt Lake, but we move on. Real Salt Lake rumored to be finalizing a deal with free agent goalkeeper Rafael Cabral, former Napoli guy, former Santos guy, former Gremio guy, former Cruzeiro guy. He's been all over the place. Oh,
Don't forget Reading. Yeah.
And Reading. He's been all over the place. 34 years old.
Reading.
He's a free agent. Has experience all over the place. Brazil, England, Italy. We just mentioned it. And now he's potentially finalizing a deal to come over to Real Salt Lake at 34 years old. He's on the older side. He doesn't necessarily fit the MO that we've been talking about with Real Salt Lake going after young guys, but a guy who can come in and potentially fight and compete for that number one spot.
If he's quality, I see it as a stopgap year or two while either one of these draft picks develops, because maybe we see something in one of those.
Bingo.
Maybe this guy we just picked up from Orlando, who we'll cover in a minute, maybe, he's looking like he could be a starter. So I just see this as some veteran presence, in the goalkeeper room. It's a free agent. The moves make sense. We have the international spot. I don't mind it. I know, fans in Brazil clown him. They're fans in Brazil. Remember that they're very hard on players.
They are very hard on players.
I've seen a couple people, sending around a YouTube video of his mistakes. Yes, it is concerning, but if you're really honest with yourself, you can make one of those of every goalkeeper to ever play. So if this was this is our Raimondo replacement for the next 10 years, don't know if I'd be pumped, but a year or two, sure, whatever. Free agent, bring him in.
I don't really have too much of an opinion on him yet. That's kind of like news to me that we picked him up. I haven't been on X that much like the last night and today, so I haven't really done research, but he has a resume.
Those are big clubs. You can't be that bad.
He has a resume. I don't know how much he's played, but he has a great resume. And 34 years old, he could probably put in a good year or two with us. And if he wins that starting job, we don't know if he's gonna yet, because Caleb Turner said there was 7 goalkeepers at training the other day. One of them being Jeff Dusnep. So they must be experimenting. They just be like, all right, whoever is the best in preseason, you are the starter.
Yeah, it's literally a tryout right now.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Which, if you're Zach McMath, how does that feel?
I think with things that are happening, right, the draft picks, the rumored signing, the goalkeeper signing we haven't covered, the writing's all over the wall for a departure anytime now for Zach McMath.
I agree. I don't. Look. We gave him a lot of praise down the stretch for the saves that he did do, specifically against Minnesota. I think I kind of like this idea and this move that Real Salt Lake seems to be heading in completely rebuilding and restructuring that goalkeeper room, because like we were just mentioning, there's a lot of young guys in that room who are coming up the pipeline and look really good. I just saw some film on Max Kirkvier. I still don't know if I'm saying his name right. I hope I am. I don't think I am. But he's got potential, man. You look at Will McKay, who's been touted about to us by Nick Raimondo.
Yep.
You get that endorsement from Nick Raimondo, that's probably saying something, right? There's young guys in the pipeline always in the goalkeeper room for Real Salt Lake. To me, this is exactly what Josh said. We're going to run with you for the next 2-3 years, however long your contract is. At the end of the contract, we're probably not going to re-sign you, and we're going to allow these young guys to come up and step up.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a Brazilian keeper, so I'd assume I should go watch and find out, this for myself. But I assume he's got better footwork than McMath,
which
which will
which would be huge.
which will go a long way with the system we're running. McMath hasn't fit into this system the entire time, right?
100%.
So, yeah,
100%.
potential.
McMath has been, again, want to give him credit for what he did do, but he's been very much trying to fit a square hole in a round peg, or whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about Real Salt Lake rebuilding that goalkeeper room.
Yeah, there's times when you just kind of have to gut a position and restart, and I feel like that's exactly what's happening with the goalkeepers. I feel like it's kind of happening in the back line and definitely happening in the attack. The only, skill group that hasn't really been touched is the midfield.
Which we'll get into that because I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's key.
Another goalkeeper signing that kind of points us into this direction of we think a departure for Zach McMath might be on the cards is because Real Salt Lake today acquired Mason Sajuhar. I don't think that's right either. What's up with Real Salt Lake picking up these guys with crazy names?
I mean,
it's not making it easy for us.
It's Staiduhar
from Orlando City. And boy, this guy has had a wild career. I remember back in 17-18 watching MLS features on this goalkeeper because he was dealing with a bone sarcoma. He was dealing with cancer, fought through it, got through it, got back onto the pitch. And that was a big story back in the day for Major League Soccer. It was a big feature that they did. I remember watching that and seeing him. And so as soon as I saw the name come across my phone of, oh, this is a guy that Rouse Lake has acquired, I immediately went online to double check. And sure enough, it is this guy. And he's been through a lot. Had a career season a
career season, huh?
A season-ending injury last year in June or July, one of the 2 months, and again battling back, and now we'll kind of have a new start here at Real Salt Lake. 27-year-olds, by the way.
Yeah, just another sign, right? It's more veteran presence with less experience, right? But a solid backup.
I'm sure it's not easy to back up Pedro Galese for 4 or 5 years, however long Pedro Galese has been at Orlando. But I do remember, oh, man, what year did Orlando go on that Open Cup run? Was it 22? Maybe 21? Can't remember. But the year that Orlando went on that run, Mason came up and started a couple of those Open Cup games. And I remember him being vital in one of the shootouts to help Orlando advance in that tournament. So the experience is there. Now the question is, can he turn that experience to compete for the number 1 spot?
I hope so. Hopefully one of these guys steps up and outperforms what we would have gotten out of Zach McMath. I don't think it'll be hard to do.
Yes.
No offense, but yeah, we got to wait till preseason. We got to see these guys play. It's so hard when you're getting guys in that haven't gotten a lot of time. I mean, he's 27, but he still hasn't gotten a ton of minutes, right? Overall, even on his loan spells. So it's one of those time will tell, and I really hope it works out.
100%, especially if, like we mentioned, Zach McMath does move on from Real Salt Lake.
With 7 goalkeepers here, potentially 8 coming up, we don't need a 9th, right? It doesn't track. It doesn't track.
Yes, absolutely. There was a tweet going around, again, shout out Caleb Turner, KSL.com. New goalkeeper was in the mix. A striker was in the mix. A center back was in the mix. And a winger was all incoming.
So we're waiting on the winger.
We're waiting on the winger. We're waiting on the striker. It looks like a goalkeeper has kind of solved itself. Looks like the center back is going to be Kobe Henry.
Well, striker would be Peel, right?
Oh, no.
We have 3 strikers now.
You're telling me that we're going to head into Major League Soccer season and we're going to run with Elias Manuel, Forrester Ajago, and Peel.
Yep. Are you confident?
Alex, you sound so sad.
That's tough.
You
Only
sound
because
underwhelmed.
yes, I am underwhelmed. Only because look, don't get me wrong. I do hope and I do believe that Diogo Gonçalves will take a big step forward. We heard some of the comments from Pablo Mastroeni and Kurt Schmidt saying that he looks re-energized. There's a different feeling. There's a different aura to Diogo coming into this preseason, which is great. That's exactly what you want to hear. Mark Zook, I think, will continue to take big step forwards. I think Luna has potential to take another bigger step now that he's probably going to be the focal point of this offense. But you can't play the way Pablo Mastroeni wants to play without a good goal scorer, without a proven goal scorer. Hold up play is so key, so vital. Creating by pooling center backs is so key and so vital to making the way that they want to play successful. That's why Chicho was so good at the beginning of the year, because it worked with Chicho. I don't believe Manuel is there yet. I don't believe Ajago's there yet.
I think Manuel will play more on the wing too.
Oof.
I don't know. I can kind of see where you're coming from. We went from a striker like Chicho Arango, who put up 17 goals last season, to having 3 unproven strikers now. So it's
And
kinda,
also losing Anderson Julio, who we know what
Yeah.
we're getting out of Anderson Julio at least, right?
yeah. I feel like Kurt Schmidt and Co are kind of just throwing up an alley oop and hoping one of those strikers can slam it down.
100%. And then when it doesn't work, Summer will get hopefully some kind of big signing with all of our cash we're making from all these other guys. And
Just got to call up Ryan Smith. Hey, you got $60 more million we can use to buy a striker?
I'm going to read you guys an excerpt from an article that came out written by the powers that be at Major League Soccer, Matt Doyle, which I find incredibly interesting, right? They break down the GAM, they break down the DP slots. So obviously, Rouse Lake heading into the season now with an open DP spot now that Chicho Arango is gone. Diogo Gonçalves is your other DP. Your 4 U20 spots are taken up by Diego Luna, Dominic Markzuk, Brian Ojeda, which I believe after this season he can no longer be a part of that, and Nelson Palacio. Because of the trades that Real Lake made with Chicho Arango and Anderson Julio, the GAM total can go up to $6 million. You factor in the new cash rules that Major League Soccer just implemented this week. There's a lot in there that makes my brain hurt, because Major League Soccer and the way that they structure their contracts and the way that they structure their things is just so complicated. So basically, you just get cash for trades. You can get cash for trades now.
Yep.
And that will bring up Rouse Lake Scam potentially to another $8 million. You add the sale of Gavin Beavers, who Kurt Schmidt today said that it is happening. Gavin Beavers is no longer part of Rouse Lake. You can go up to $10 million in GAM. There is a bunch of GAM right now that Real Lake can play with in the summer window.
Yeah, we have no excuse to not use it if we need to. I appreciate them not panic buying anybody, right? Making the wrong move.
Right.
But if summer comes and we're struggling in an area and we don't get a solid replacement, that's when the questions will have to start.
Do we expect like 2 or 3 more signings, or was that Kobe Henry signing the center back we were expecting and then that striker? So what, we're expecting a winger as well?
Yep. I think we're just waiting on one more. And then potentially the other goalkeeper, the free agent.
Man, we're stacking up on goalies. I know we already said that, but hopefully one of them is good.
To kind of break down this a little bit further, they go into the biggest transfer need for every Western Conference club. It's such a great article. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it, especially if you want to do some scouting on what's going on around the league. But the biggest transfer need, according to Matt Doyle and the writers of Major League Soccer, they say that Rouse Lake doesn't really need much. They just need, as I mentioned, Mark Zook and Gonçalves to take big steps this season.
And hopefully they do.
But he does expect DP9 to eventually come into the system, because he also mentions without a DP9, without that goal scorer, the system just doesn't work as effectively.
Right. He's not wrong. We're all aligned here.
Capana was right there And he ended up going to New England.
Well, I guess we'll wait to see, man. I'm hoping for that DP9 prior to the start of Champions League. And we'll see. We'll see when it gets here.
I'll be shocked if it happens this winter.
I would be too. We're right back to where we were, I don't know, 2 years ago when we were asking for a DP, begging for a DP.
Yep. This is why we do nice things, Alex.
Bring back Rylock.
I'd take Dami.
Yeah,
No.
we love Dami.
I love Dami, but no.
She's not a DP9. Oh my gosh, guys. So much is happening, though, around the league. So much is happening around Major League Soccer. You have San Diego, who are nearing deal to sign Luca De La Torre, U.S. men's national team star. You have...
Hold on. Star?
Okay.
Did you actually just say star? Are you trying to get us canceled?
Okay. Decent player.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rotate a squad player, a U.S. men's national team rotation player.
All right.
It's like you calling Christian Roldan a U.S. men's national team star. I don't want to hear it, bro.
I would never
national team star.
I would never call Rodan a star.
You basically just did.
You have Charlotte finally giving up on Miguel Almiron and that Miguel Almiron dream, and they've turned their attention to Wilfred Zaha, who are close to nearing a deal. You have Atlanta United, who saw that Charlotte was no longer interested in Miguel Almiron, and now Miguel Almiron's possibly coming back to Atlanta. So much stuff happening in the league, and
I hope we snipe Zaha, dude. I would be so happy with that.
Stop that, dude.
I think it would be
not a good locker room presence. Stop that.
I think that would be a fun move. Will it ever happen? I don't think so. But you look at
Crystal Palace.
That's true. That is true.
I'm just saying.
You look around the league, and there's all these star-studded signings happening, and you get a little sad that Rouse Lake isn't involved in one of these big star signings.
Yeah, so is life. Kind of used to it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take a stab at Neymar.
Oh my gosh! Hey, speaking of which, Chicago's going after Neymar. Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly. There's Brazilian outlets who have come out and said that there are 3 Major League Soccer teams who are chasing after Neymar at the moment, Chicago being one of them. They did not name the other 2.
Miami,
there's no way. They're going to bring freaking Neymar in as like a TAM GAM player? Get out of here.
Wasn't it Miami? I think it was Sporting, right? One of them was Sporting, KC.
Oh, gross.
Oh my gosh! If Neymar goes to
Sporting, I would quit forever. I would just go away. Ew.
Imagine Sporting getting Ronaldo and Neymar.
No. They would be, dude, they would hate it there. Are you kidding me?
There's literally
they go to Buc-ee's and then freeze in their games there. It's not going to happen.
Hey, at least they got good barbecue.
That they can't eat. They're not allowed to. Their trainer's not going to eat barbecue.
All right, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. We, again, just continue and hope that Rouse Lake will continue to make moves, and we hope that the season will be good. I know that there's a lot of conversations going on the social medias of people not being excited for the season, not being hopeful for the season, but I think the best thing that we can say for people is just be patient. Moves are being made. Kurt Schmidt hasn't failed us yet. I do believe that we'll be in a good spot heading into the upcoming season.
And to be honest, and I'm not excusing anything, right, for criticism or whatever, but RSL has been successful with way less talent before. So it's not complete doom and gloom yet.
It's still early. It's still early. No need for salt yet.
Not yet.
We'll save that for the mid-season.
Yeah, save it for when it's deserved.
Carson, anything else you want to add, man?
I mean, it's kind of exhausting to see like all the fans saying, "Oh, I'm not excited anymore. I'm canceling my season tickets." But I'm just like, just wait until we make moves first. I know we've made some bad moves out, not bad moves, like we moved players out, and it's kind of worrying. But I'm confident in Kurt Schmidt and Pablo and Beltran to get guys in here that can help this club succeed.
And with that, we conclude today's edition of the RSL Show. Thank you guys, as always, for listening, for tuning in, for subscribing, for following, for doing everything that you have to do to follow the RSL Show on the KSL Sports Network for the best RSL content. We'll come back. We'll talk to you guys next week as we continue to dive into this preseason of the 2025 season for Real Salt Lake. Until then, everyone be safe, and we'll talk next time.